What is up? How are you doing today? We will be going into break of structure and change in state of delivery. Before we get into this video, we are going to actually, we're just going to go. I'm going to show you this banger that I hit today. Today made around 2K on the funded and then made another 500 on the XFA. Here, let me see if I could pull this up and show you guys. Wrong one. Right here. All right, let's pull this up there. All right, look at this banger trade. So this is what I'm basically teaching you guys. We'll go into the whole model after. But let's go straight into it here. Bang. All right. So there's a change in state down here that I entered off of, which we will be going over on this video. But bam, you can see beautiful, beautiful price action. Ready? Look, straight up to my take profit hit. And then I had a second one. It wasn't as good. It was a little scalp. But yeah, now that we went over my little trade that I took this morning, let's go in and start teaching you how to trade so you could start winning just like me. But obviously, we got a lot to get into. So before we could talk about entries, we have to understand structure. And the good thing is we already went over candles, what you're actually seeing on the screen, what these little things are moving up and down. And then we also went over trends. So you know how to determine if the market's moving up and how to determine if the market is moving down. So it either trends up, trends down, or consolidates. So structure is how we measure that behavior. So we'll do another little recap of what we learned last week and what I taught you last week. So what we learned last week was we already know what a candlestick is. You have the open here. I'm not even going to try drawing it. We have the open here. We have a wick. Market went up, closed here, went up to here, and then closed back down here. That's our general, little recap of what we learned from candlesticks. And then now we know how to determine trends too. So first of all, you have a high. Takes 3 candles to make a high, if you remember me saying that. Move up, move down, high. And then to make a low is the same exact thing. Move down, move up, and that's our low. Let me get rid of this. So now we know the general premise of how to determine structure and trends. Trends can be higher highs, higher lows. For bullish and for bearish, it's going to be lower lows and lower highs. Now, break of structure is going to be how we determine the bullish trend going and moving to a bearish trend to the downside. So we'll start off simple and how to spot a break in structure or change in stated delivery. These are two different terms. Some people use them interchangeably. They are two very, very different terms, and they do not mean the same exact thing. So for break of structure, number one is going to be we need to identify the trend. Is it an uptrend or is it a downtrend? So once we determine what type of trend it is, from there we see if it's a break of structure or a change in stated delivery. If it's an uptrend, we're watching the lows and the most recent ones that get made. So if it's an uptrend, we want the lows. We're watching lows because we want the new lows to be higher than the old lows. So an example would be here. We're watching the lows. This is the low right here. and we see the next low that was made is higher than this low. So that's what we're looking for. And then it's going to be the opposite for a downtrend. We're going to be looking at the highs, and then we want the other high to be lower than the high before, pretty much. So in order for it to be a break of structure to the upside, downward trend into an upward trend, it has to close above the most recent high. So if you remember me saying that last time, how trends are only trends if the body closes above the previous higher high. So getting into break of structure. So the way that you can differentiate a break of structure versus a change in stated delivery, a break of structure is going to be a continuation of a trend. So a break of structure is going to be, you have the original high here. So break of structure is you have your original high and your original low, right? And then we make another one. So now we know it's a bullish trend. A break of structure is going to be when you break structure to the upside again. So back up, back down, bam. Your break of structure would be this. BOS, break of structure. Why? Because it's a continuation to the upside, breaking the structure of this previous high, creating a new higher high. So right here, you could see break of structure. So break of structure, price breaks the most recent high or low in the direction of the current trend. In this one, this is a bullish trend. So in a bullish trend, price breaks above a previous high. As we see here, price breaks above previous high. I'll give you an example for a bearish trend. So bearish trend, bam, 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 bam. We know this is bearish because we have this high, low, low, high. You have a lower low and a lower high. What is the break of structure going to be? It's going to be right here. We go back, make a higher high, hold up, I'm confusing myself now. Break of structure, lower low, and a lower high. So the break of structure would be right here, because our confirmation that this is a trend is we have the original low and the original high. Lower low, lower high. This is confirming it's a bearish trend. Now, break of structure to the downside again, lower low, higher high from the previous lower low and higher low, confirming it's a break of structure. Now, change in state of delivery is going to be something completely different. A change in state of delivery is going to be when there is a shift in trend. So, change in state of delivery is going to be when you have a, right here. So, bam, we have a bullish trend, right? A change in state is going to be, bam, we just created another low right here. It's still a higher low, right? But now we break it. And something like that, right? So bullish trend. Let me clone this. Right here. So bullish trend. This could still be a continuation to the upside, right? If this was a break of structure to the upside. But instead, we broke through this lower low, this higher low, creating a new lower low that is lower than this original low. And it is telling us that market now wants to go in the opposite direction. And now we could start going down towards these lows. So it's going to be a better example right here. We have this low. So high, low, high, low. Bullish trend. This candle closes. That's the important part. The candle has to close below this low to have a change in state of delivery. See how this body ends below this candle's wick, that is what a change in state of delivery is. Once that candle closes below this low, that's instant. That is your change in state of delivery. It is a strong displacement against the current trend, often breaking an internal structure level and closing decisively past it. Decisively means that the body is closing below it. So it's not a full trend reversal yet, but you will get that once you create new lower lows and lower highs. So it tells you that order flow is shifting. The previous side, the upside, is losing control, and the uptrend may weaken or is just ending. And this is a little diagram kind of showing the difference. So you can see break of structure, it's going to be a trend continuation, a new higher high. Change in state of delivery is a momentum shift. Strong drop, change in state, potential break, potential reversal. So now that we saw that and you guys know what it is, we're going to go into the actual charts and look at these break of structures and change in states of delivery. So this is a perfect one that actually happened today. That is the reason I took my trade. So actually it'll be better on this time frame. We'll go on the 5 minute. Okay. One second. Right here. So let me get my handy dandy brush out. So as you can see, we have this low, this high. Then we have a lower low than this low and a lower high. So this means that this trend right now is bearish, right? Low high, lower low, lower high. So right now going into the morning, you can say, oh, the market might keep on going down. And then what else do you see? So right here, create another lower low. After that lower low is made, you are looking for the trend continuation to the downside. But what else do you see? You see a candle closure. This candle closes above this lower high. So this was the high. And now you can mark it out just like that. Change in state. And due to the fact that this candle closed above the previous high that was in the bearish trend, now you can think, oh, market might be going up. And then obviously, as you can see, market went all the way up and rallied up as high. It's like super, super high. Now, this kind of goes in both directions. So we have all of this here. We'll get rid of all that again. But you can also see what happened right before. Right before, we have this low and this high. Okay. What else do you see that happened? Yep. We have this low here. Then you look for the next high and this high right here. How do you know that's a high? If you remember what I was talking about, candle 2's wick is higher than candle 1 and candle 3. That's all that you need that makes up a high. You have another low right here. So we'll use that as our low. So low, high, lower low, higher high. Now we have a bullish trend. Right? Now what else do you see? The next low is right here. And then we have our high right here. Would that be a break of structure or a change in state of delivery? Yeah, it's going to be a break of structure to the upside because it is continuing in our bullish trend. So that is going to be the basics of break of structure and change in state of delivery. So now you know what candlesticks are. You know what trends are. You know how to identify trends. You know how to see if the trend is going up, going down. And now you also know how to identify if the trend is still going up or if it's reversing and having a change in state in the opposite direction. So once it has the change in state, you are looking for a break of structure that will confirm that change in state of delivery in the opposite direction. And what do I mean by that? Let me get this tool back out. So what I mean by that is you have your original bullish trend, right? Then you have your change in state of delivery to the downside. That change in state is making you think, oh, this bullish trend isn't as strong anymore. And now I could be looking for a bearish trend to go down. Now, your confirmation that it is a change in state of delivery is going to be to have another break of structure. And now break of structure is going to be a continuation in the bearish trend that is going in the opposite direction. And that's pretty much how simple it is. I know it might be confusing at first, but it's going to be super important for you. Your homework tonight is going to be go on TradingView, and I want you to mark out and identify bullish and bearish trends first of all. Get some practice, more practice on that. And then I want you to mark out 5 break of structures to the upside, 5 break of structures to the downside. Also, 5 change in states in either direction. And then from there, I want you to confirm the change in state of deliveries with a break of structure after that. So that'll really get your mind thinking whether it's a break of structure and if you know it's correct or not.